Morning, Frag, Matic, and all you viewers on the Twitch stream. Welcome to day 3 of the League of Legends competition. My name is Matt Spellruler, Tosiek. Co-casting with me is still Fayan, Gevous, Pertijs, and we are bringing you the loser bracket finals between LowLandions and
mCon eSports.
Yeah, so the winner of this one will be moving on towards the grand finals, but will be behind one game in a best of 3 against EC Visualize. So they need to like win. The team who wins this needs to win 2-0 to win the entire thing. Meanwhile, EC Visualize just has to win the one game. So kind of a lot riding on the line. We're already into picks and bans. Grace and Lissandra being banned out for the beginning. 2 picks in. Darius surprisingly being removed.
Wow, Darius been something I would have not expected at all, because Darius is like pretty much easily kiteable. So especially with champions being popular like the blue Ezreal, it's really easy to play, or relatively easy to play against the Darius. So actually surprised that ban to see come out. Grace, of course, always that dominant jungler. Lissandra is a flex pick. We see that banned every now and then just because the flex pick is really strong. The champion itself is pretty strong at the moment because of the pick and her utility. And Gangplank, well, we know what Gangplank does. It's pretty much 100% permaban. Permaban or permapick.
I feel sad for Gangplank. He just got his rework.
Well, it's actually a while ago already, but he got tweaked down a lot.
And I think it was like only a couple of weeks before Worlds that he got his rework actually with the entire Bilgewater event, which was a great event.
I think, I really like the map as well. Like the whole theme was like really suiting.
They should have kept like the ARAM map, like the
I
Bilgewater
prefer it
theme.
as well.
Yeah.
I preferred it as well. It was really good. Anyway, Corki we also see banned now from the blue side. Corki, flex pick again. A lot of flex picks are going to be banned because then you target multiple lanes at the same time, or roles I should say. Corki, of course, pretty dominant mid laner now, has a lot of damage, a lot of mixed damage as well. Really hard to itemize against it. Also has that instant engage with the package. Ooh. And then Lulu. You never really want to give away the Lulu, but that does leave the Fiora open, and Lenny like surely wants it.
But that leaves Poppy open, and they instantly pick it as well. Malphite was actually open as well, and Malphite does pretty well against Fiora, if I recall correctly. Like, not like the early 2 levels, but once you get that Balmy Cinder and you get that Sunfire Cape, you can really like stand up to her, get some extra levels into that Ground Slam, and just basically make her do nothing. But Poppy probably like too much of a value to to not let slip under Malphite. But we are back into the lobby. Seems like we have some issues here. Oh, Kitty, one of the players is apparently going to the bathroom.
We were not informed. We were not informed. That is quite inconvenient, but I guess it leaves us open to discuss this a little bit more. Let's start with the Poppy. And indeed, Poppy, it's still good to have as a first rotation, because it is really good into the Fiora still, because you can interrupt the dashes from the Fiora, which actually negates a part of her damage, or like just her generic DPS output, because the way she would trade is she kind of would walk up to you, like go for the auto, and then get the auto attack reset with her Q, that little dash, or indeed would be like the instant engage, and it's actually quite a bit of damage that she can put out with just those dashes. So part of that DPS will be negated, and then also Poppy can slow her. She can stun her into the wall. Of course, there is a riposte, but it's a little bit harder to do with the Poppy knockback. And then overall, the trading from Poppy is really good since she gets the shield. She also has a bit of range harass every now and then.
It's more a losing matchup for Fiora, unless like the Fiora is very skillful with the riposte, and then you can kind of equal it out at the very best. I think it might be best if we head into a short break, because apparently Kitty is still going to be gone for a while. So perhaps it would be best if we switch over back to the music and let you guys know whenever the game is back up again. So we'll be right back with you with LowLandions versus mCon.
Tips the scales, yeah, you keep me sane. I'll be the clouds beyond your skies, I'll flutter by like butterflies. I'll be the blue inside your eyes, your crazy loving keeps me paralyzed. Oh, this is what it feels like. Oh, this is what it feels like. Oh, this wings, not letting go. I'm all you need. Oh, this is what it feels like. Oh, this is what it feels like. Oh, this is what it feels like to see reflections of you all around. Oh, this is what it sounds like. Oh, this is what it sounds like. Oh, this is what it sounds like to hear reflections of you all around.
Okay, everyone, seems we are back and players are feeling a little bit more healthier, hopefully. I'm still Matt Spellruler, Tosiek. This is Fayan, Gevous, Pertijs, and we are bringing you LowLandions ICE versus mCon eSports in the loser bracket finals. You can see the bands like on the screen right over there. We already went over them. So Fiora, Poppy, and Elise being picked up. Those were the picks already locked in before we had to remake. And now Alistar and Ezreal being locked in. I keep saying I'm not fond of that combination.
Yeah, but the thing is though, like Alistar is such a safe support overall that it works in kind of every type of team comp. It's kind of like Thresh in a way, but more the skirmish / team fight style of things, where Alistar always gets tanky, or he always will provide that front line for you. And with carry top lanes being so much popular, Alistar's kind of like a must-pick support just because he gets so tanky. Since all of his ranks of Unbreakable will give the flat 70% damage reduction, and on top of that you get an Ezreal where he can kite pretty well. Also Alistar a little bit of disengage, of course, with the knockback, and with that I think that LowLandions will be looking in some type of split push composition here, but mCon would have that opportunity too with the Poppy, of course, but it looks like they're going more for a pick style composition.
Yeah, Caitlyn, Morgana being picked out. Caitlyn also like being that safe AD carry, not as mobile as Ezreal, but like certainly has some tricks up her sleeve. And I feel like Caitlyn is very good at establishing a certain zone in which she works like really well at. She's very good at marking her territory, so to speak. And as long as she can like kind of keep safe and prevent from like being flash pulverized and stuff like that, she's generally like a really good AD carry to have her. I actually like the combination Caitlyn Alistar more than I do Ezreal Alistar, because you have some synergy coming in with the traps as well. Like you can get the knock up on, get a shot in while they're still in the air, place the trap goes off, you get a guaranteed headshot with that, so it all just kind of works out a bit better. Same with Morgana though. Like if Morgana can land a binding, Caitlyn can follow up with Yordle snap trap, maybe get a headshot, get another shot, net, get another headshot, and works pretty well as well. Meanwhile, Victor and Rek'Sai being picked up. Rek'Sai just all around good tanky jungler. Kind of like in the same trend as Shyvana. Like they kind of have like the same clear speed. I think like Shyvana clears the jungle a little bit faster, does a little bit more damage, but she has like less mobility than Rek'Sai. But they're both like in that same category of junglers.
And with this Rek'Sai pickup now, definitely think that LowLandions is looking to split push. Like they've got a solid 1-3-1 composition, 1-3-1 split push. So we have like a top laner, and in this case the jungler having it in the side lanes, or at least 2 different lanes, and then you've got the 3, Alistair, Azriel, and Victor that can just kite and wave clear. Especially Victor giving a lot of wave clear. They've got disengage within the Alistair. They've got a little bit of kiting with, of course, the blue Azriel and also the gravity fields from the Victor. And it's just like looking to get these split pushes down, see if you can get the couple turrets, if you can indeed get the pressure in the side lanes while the 3 of them kite back, and see if you can make plays around the Rek'Sai that can instantly teleport as well for the Fiora that can instantly teleport. But mCon emphasizing their pick potential even more with the Ahri pickup, where you can charm a target, maybe like that's the main initiation. On top of that, you've got the cocoon, you've got the binding, you've got indeed the Yordle snap trap, and basically they just look to blow up the first target and then the next one. But I actually wonder if it will be as effective, because if I look at the lineup of LowLandions, a lot of kiting, a lot of wave clear, it's really hard to approach them.
Yeah, a lot of disengage as well. Like Fiora has the riposte to like kind of stop all these things coming in. Rek'Sai can kind of burrow away if she's kind of lucky. Knight is running cleanse, which I do think is pretty much gonna remove every kind of CC that might get onto him. Ezra has the arcane shift, and Wheel Failure like is just that big of a beast. He's just so tanky. So like it's gonna be kind of hard. So I feel that mCon like definitely need to make their picks in the early game while everyone is like still kind of scattered and in the laning phase, and that LowLandions are kind of playing for the mid to late game. Like that's kind of like the thing. If you're playing with an Ezreal, you're always like banking on that mid to late game where you can like start poking and start split pushing. I feel. No,
I definitely agree. Like you hit the nail on the head there. So with that, I think it's a good time to go into a little bit of a music break until the spectator comes up. We've still got 2 minutes to wait out. So don't go anywhere. Don't touch the browser. Get your drinks. Get your breakfast maybe if it's early for you, and we will be right back with the game.
So it looks like we are into the game LowLandions ICE versus mCon eSports. No pause at the beginning.
Interesting. This is new. I'm shocked. I'm completely stunned. I can't cast anymore. I can't cast anymore. I'm completely out of my comfort zone now.
This feels... I need an adult.
Hold my hand. Okay, now I'm good again. Now I'm good.
I should probably disable the chat though, or like at least hide it away very quickly.
Right about
while nothing is happening. So it looks like everyone is just pretty much setting up a defensive formation. No one really wants to go for the cheese early on, I guess, when there's so much on the line, because this is a best of 3, if I'm not mistaken.
This is indeed a best of 3, and it's a 0-0 across the board. LowLandions ICE, they are starting this best of 3 with a solid 131 composition, and I also think it will be highly effective since a lot of teams are kind of gathered on the last moment of like the LAN, or basically like before the LAN took place. A lot of teams don't have that much synergy together, so indeed heavy split push comps can be quite effective, and indeed Elise sadly not having enough attack speed in order to get that ward.
Yeah, I feel bad. Like she even like hit the W to get the extra attack speed, but it didn't work out.
Well, it's not that bad because you would start W anyway on Elise in the jungle.
True. Well, sometimes you go E if you like try to catch people off guard. You know, like,
cheesy invades, level 1 invades.
I mean, I have seen it happen.
It has happened. It could work. It's like the kind of the Pantheon cheese, like the level 1 invade where you just like start the shield, where like the stun, the point and click stun, where that gives you a shield.
The Ages of Zionia.
Yeah, that one indeed, perfect. That's why the player will play and not me. Which is still good for clearing overall, because you can get the double shields and or the double blocks and such in order to get like effective clearing, and like the point and click stun is just, like unavoidable, and just a burst that Pantheon can do overall. Pretty good.
Oh, nice binding landing from Fortune, dropping to Failure to about half his hit points, of course. Does still have the Biscuit and 2 charges of his Relic Shield, so he'll be in a pretty good position. Meanwhile, Lenny in the top lane kind of getting punished. Has to use that Corrupting Potion just to heal up without trading, so not too beneficial.
And that is also a good point. He is using it for just sustain, but it is going to hurt his trading overall, because ideally you want to trade and sustain at the same time, because you do get that damage over time on your spells and attacks once you have that stack going from the potion. So this is definitely a good favor for, or like in favor of Bwipo, and also of course Poppy being quite a lame bully against Fiora too. This is really good for him.
I do have to point out, I do like that Lunar Revel Caitlyn skin. I think it's really pretty.
It is indeed really pretty. I think they could have like done something else with it. Like it's like I'm missing something, but I actually don't know what it is.
Well, it's just like Lunar Revel, isn't? Like most of those Lunar Revel skins are just like themed, you know? They're not like extravagant. They're just like, they're like reskins as reskins should be, I feel.
I think so too. Like indeed, maybe just not overdoing it is the best way of doing it.
Yeah.
And it's also a wise League of Legends for your solo queue matches, or your competitive matches, professional play.
Oh wow, nice block there by Bwipo, stopping Lenny from dashing in.
And that is the strength of the Poppy in the Fiora matchup. You can cancel out that dash, which will not deal damage as long as you're like far enough away, I believe. Because if you have it on just like right on the border of the block, then the Q won't hit you from the Fiora. And like this is where you can outtrade really well.
Yeah, the Fiora actually like needs to finish the stab before, because it is possible for her to dash without stabbing, you know, like you see Fiora's if they're running back from base to lane, that they're like using their Q to get to lane faster, but it doesn't actually do any damage. So I guess that's kind of what Bwipo is doing with that steadfast presence.
Exactly how he wants to play that lane out too, because indeed playing the Poppy. And what Poppy overall wants to do, you just want to get ahead in levels, you want to get ahead over your opponent, because Poppy scales really well with items overall, and especially with levels, because of how her scaling works on spells.
Yeah, Lenny has also not been getting too much luck with the direction of the vitals. Like every time the camera shifts up to there, I see the vital like being either on the top or the right side, which is like really hard to reach. I think there was a Riot post stating that the vitals depending on which side you are, you're on, will proc more often on a certain side. So if Fiora is playing on blue side, the vitals are more likely to appear on left and bottom side. But I guess that Lenny is just being a really unlucky Fiora.
Yeah.
Because there's no straight pattern to it. Like TF wildcards, like Twisted Fate wildcards, you can actually, from the moment you pick the first wildcard, if you time it right, like if you keep the tempo and memory, 10 minutes later you can exactly like predict which wildcard you're gonna get if you like double tap it, because it's always like the same
10 minutes
rhythm.
you said?
Yeah, because it will yeah, because it always will be like red, blue, gold, red. So if you keep that in mind, like it's like on a constant timer, like invisibly.
I see what you mean. Not entirely sure if that was the case, because I saw someone testing these things, but it was not the case where that was actually the case, where the theory was there. But I actually don't know myself, but it might indeed be. What I normally do on Twisted Fate is just like, I just react. If I want to insta-lock a gold card, then I will see if it's just like gold, okay, insta-lock it, as long as my response time is like correct.
Yeah, I mean, like that's the standard way to do it, but they did say like that, like, oh, small fight happening there, but not too much.
Just disengage. Nothing interesting.
The Twisted Fate, like the pick a card, like the cards above his head, they're basically invisible till you press W, and then like the timer will appear. That's what kind of what I meant. So if you like get the timing really right, you can like lock in whatever card you want. If you like are a genius at keeping rhythm, I guess.
Yeah. And you also just know instantly when you can go for the insta-lock.
Yeah, that's true. So Sigma in the top lane might be baited into an engager. Sigma not gonna flash though. Steadfast presence being used early on to prevent any engage from happening. Of course, flash could have still be used to get into that steadfast presence area, but would not have mattered too much. One thing I would like to ask while this dragon is being taken down by mCon. Do Rek'Sais ever get to utilize like their full Fury bar? Like usually I see them. Oh, never mind. Double teleport coming in. Nice knockup from Weevil Faders onto 2, but he is getting fairly low. Repo now in the middle of it. Weevil Faders, no ultimate. First blood for Ari. Lenny gets knocked up, gets all the vitals procced on him. If he can get the last auto attack, the healing zone does come across. Fortunate goes down. Knight picking up that one. They're still chasing. Tiger's Head and Photon very, very low. Can Sigma get anything off of this one? No. So far it is going to be just a 1-for-1, it seems.
Yeah, first blood going to red side though, I believe. So they do get that. They do get that advantage, but it was also LowLandions being able to stop that dragon from happening. And it was 1 kill towards Knight, which is actually pretty good, because then they can indeed emphasize that 1-3-1 split push. As long as they do have enough wave clear and enough poke from long range with the Victor and Ezreal. Ezreal will skill anyway, but Victor kind of needs more of that income in order to become really effective in the clearing and in the long range poke. And then it's just like Fiora and Rex are kind of like farming in the side lanes, trying to get like turrets, trying to create pressure and then make those teleport plays. So this is also a good start for LowLandions.
Yeah, it was actually Photon who got first blood, if I read your chat correctly. I could be wrong, but
yes, it is indeed.
Back to the point I was making, like, dude, like, I think that Rek'Sais E does like true damage if your rage bar is full.
That is correct.
Is there ever like a situation where that happens? Because usually what I see is like these Rek'Sais coming in with very low fury. I rarely see Rek'Sais with like a full fury bar.
Yeah, often you will be like dropped low from the camps in the first place, so it's really hard for you to actually get full fury. But sometimes when traits extend, then you might have the opportunity to get the full 100 fury. But it is, like you said, like it is like
gank onto Bwipo, ultimate being used here. The vitals cannot be procced, but Bwipo might fall. There is the healing zone. Stinson now in the middle of it all, might not be able to get out of this alive. Double kill for Lenny in the top lane.
And now a double kill for Lenny. This will make the split push even stronger, and this is where Fiora can be really good in those squishy 2v2s. Fiora can blow up targets really, really easily. Poppy, of course, a little bit more tanky, but you can still deal damage since Poppy doesn't really have items yet, doesn't really have the resistances yet in order to sustain against a Fiora. Always wanted to say Lissandra, but Fiora. And then Rek'Sai also so good in these ganks where you can just like hop over or get the knock up, quite some burst damage, and then together with that burst damage, they easily get that kill. But to come back to that Rek'Sai point, very rarely you will get the opportunity to actually get the 100 Fury and get the true damage. So often it's just like flatly your attack damage output.
I think that if Rek'Sai burrows, her Fury decreases, but she gets health regen. I think
that's correct. And that's indeed where the Fury goes.
Ah, I see.
Which makes her sustain pretty well in the jungle, like in between roots, but she can't really use the true damage as often anymore.
Yeah. One thing I'm surprised about is that Sigma doesn't really have an elaborate tunnel system set up. Just that I only have like 4 tunnels on the map so far.
Yeah, early on it is a little bit harder to get a lot of tunnels down since you don't really have any cooldown reduction yet, and also you don't really have any skill points spent in the tunnels, which would max as a second spell besides your Q. There are still a couple good tunnels. I do see 5 on the map so far, where you can have a maximum of 8, so the majority of the tunnels are used. But I would indeed like to see them more around Dragon now, since bot lane might be able to play a little bit stronger with the Sheen and Tear being picked up now, and their all-in will still be pretty good if they can play on the binding cooldown of Morgana, because then it's really hard for the bot lane to disengage.
Tiamat being finished up for Lemmy. It's probably going to go for a Ravenous Hydra early on. Stinson finding out where the wards are, so it has to clear that one out. No real pressure coming in from mCon so far just yet. Looks like they're going for attempt number 2 on the Dragon as they're all kind of collapsing towards it, but double teleport is up. Rek'Sai Sigma did use ultimate, but of course with those tunnels can make it back fairly quick if need be. Looks like just the Skull Crab is being taken down and possibly a gank onto bottom lane.
Void Rush is down though, so he cannot use that as of now. Looks like he's going to look for a gank in the top lane again. Again, Lenny also has shown quite aggressive through Shopperas in the bot lane. But I'm not quite sure if they want to invest too much in that top lane, since Lenny already achieved 2 kills. You have TP, and I think you can spend it better to just like go for a bot lane gang, just have like a bot lane party where everyone comes bot lane and basically win such a team fight like they did before when at the Dragon. Yes, first blood went to mCon, but it was also LowLandions being able to stop the Dragon.
Kitty being caught in a binding arcane shifts away to a lot of damage landing onto him. Thunderlord's Decree now being procced as well. Can't really get the last auto attack off, but a knockup onto Fortunate. Exhaust coming across, Fortunate picking up that kill, but Ezreal falling as well. Morgana falling. Tiger's Head now in a little bit of trouble here. Nice steadfast presence by Repo in the top lane, preventing that Rek'Sai from coming in. So overall a 1-for-1, but it is Kitty who did fall in the end.
As long as Poppy can see or react in time where the dashes come out, she will be really safe from ganks. You also gain movement speed from the W of that Poppy, so you can be relatively safe to ganks. But still a good trade from the bot lane too from mCon. They were caught out in a pretty bad position where Fortune took the tower aggro, no black shield up, good pulverize from We Will Failure, but still managing to scavenge a kill and also getting a turret for that, so good rotation from Citizen as well.
So looks like the lanes are going to be swapping for a little bit as we see Fortunate heading towards the top lane along with Tiger's Head. So bottom tower has of course fallen, so it looks like they're going to invest some of that pushing power towards the top lane to get that tower at the very least. Maybe get some Rift Herald control as well, but I still feel that LowLandions are pretty happy with the way the game is going. Despite them not being ahead by overwhelming amount, I think they're more like banking their chips to like not lose the game in the next 6 minutes.
And that is what they're looking for. They only need a little bit more water. Oh, the double pink. There's 2 people with the same thought, only not communicated that the pink would go down.
Landing on We Will Failures gravity field being used to prevent everyone from going in, but the blue sentinel is pretty aggroed up. Looks like he is going to regen though, so they have to start that off all over again. Photon in the meantime stopping a tunnel. Looks like we have our first big team fight happening over here. True Shot Barrage hitting across 3 people. The Orbital Snap Traps all around the area. Sigma going in. Flash onto 4. Knockup lands. Sigma will go down. The Photon picking up that kill. Fortunate, almost going down to Victor. Will fall eventually. Double kill for him. So far, it's a 1-for-3. Great play there from Sigma. Sacrificing his life, but getting so much out of that one.
Yeah, huge play from Sigma, getting that 4-man knockup, and that's exactly what he needed to do, and basically making the team fight free for his team, get the pickups, get the pressure, and now 3-0 and 1 Fiora will be able to split push so hard, with the Knight being like 3-0 and 1 himself, where he has a lot of wave clear and a lot of control. We'll quite get some cooldown reductions. Oh, it's still early in the morning. Get some cooldown reduction.
I'm actually a little surprised that Knight went cooldown reduction boots over Sorcerer Shoes, because you do get like so much base AP on Victor that you would think that the Sorcerer Shoes would like help augment that instead of the cooldown reduction.
And this is the trend we see now with like the scaling cooldown reduction on the glyphs being so efficient overall as runes nowadays.
Yeah, I think it's like 15%.
Yeah, 15% at level 18, like a little bit more than 15. I think it's like 0.03 additional, like 15.03 or something. But then you already have 50% cooldown reduction from your glyphs. You get Ionian boots. Then you already have 25, and then you only need 1 item with 20% cooldown reduction, and then the rest you can get cooldown reduction over time overall.
I think you could get a 10% cooldown reduction item instead, because you get 5% from the I forgot, from the ferocity tree. I forgot what the tree is called. The left tree.
Cunning. No, it's on the middle tree.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it is on the middle tree.
My bad.
But not a lot of people do go for it, since the precision is pretty good with the actual penetration, and oftentimes 45% cooldown reduction is kind of overkill, where you don't really need it if you don't have the mana to back it up, and if you don't really gain that much DPS from having 45% cooldown reduction, it's not as worth as much. So oftentimes you would indeed go for the precision instead to get the extra penetration.
Okay.
But you need Ionian boots and your glyphs will already get you at about 20% cooldown reduction. You gain 10% from blue buff, and then you only need like one 10% or one 20% cooldown reduction item, and then you're pretty much done for the cooldown reduction. And then you get void stuff later in order to get the penetration you need.
Okay. So with that said, small 2k lead in favor of LowLandions, but looks like they're playing a bit more aggressively here as well. Sigma going in. Charm does connect though, so no follow-up from either side. Not much to gain as well, because a Photon did have Spirit Rush available and there was a long lane to escape from. So Sigma kind of walking through Skull Crab right there. I'm actually not too sure if he can see it, if he passes through it when he's
I think actually if you're on top of it as Bird Rek'Sai, I'm pretty sure you still can.
Not that blind as we surmise she would be then.
Well, the skull was also under the ground, so I guess they would have like a little meetups, like, hey man, how's it going?
But no, wouldn't she like bump into it? Like, be like, ow.
He would have a hard shell, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he has a really hard shell. I think that's like literally in his description.
Has a hard shell.
Yeah. No, I'm not even joking.
Would it also be on his dating website, his dating profile? I have a hard shell.
Probably.
Probably.
Like, you look it up when Scuttle Crab respawns. Like, it's like in his buff bar. I'm pretty sure.
In his buff bar?
Yeah, like over here.
I can't click it though. That's the thing.
Well, no, when he respawns. When it respawns.
Oh, when he respawns. Okay. All right. Oh yeah, just checking the description. Then it would be affected dating profile as well. I have a hard shell.
I can,
sounds impressive.
I have a hard shell. I can take it when you treat me harshly. If you turn me down at the if you turn me down at the first date, I can take it.
I will still be harsh. Yeah. Is that where you're going at?
No, he's more like it's because he's resilient. Like, he can bounce back from a bad date. You know, like if he gets, you know, like if he gets rejected on Tinder or something, he's like, I understand.
For
he's not like
Rift Howl couldn't take it anymore. He has had enough of these talks. Like, you're talking about the Scuttle Crab all.
Like, he's not like a Moo Moo. Like, when he doesn't get any Tinder matches, he like cries for a week, you know?
I
It's
see.
like, nobody loves me. But Skullcraft, he understands. He's like, nah, it's cool.
It's cool.
It's gay.
Maybe we should change the description to that. It's cool.
Nah.
What?
I got too much of a Rammus feeling with that one though.
Let's see. Skullcrab should appear now. I don't see any form of description on the Skullcrab self, itself, herself. What gender is the Skullcrab actually?
I think Skullcrab was confirmed male, but meanwhile Bripo getting dived on in the top lane. Ultimate is being used. Riposte not really being effective there. It looks like they didn't get anything out of that one at all.
Skullcrab is probably going to be taken in. We've known you well, friend.
Oh, go for Dragon instead.
They understood, like, okay, there's no time in order to get the Skullcrab, so we might as well just go for the Dragon straight away. It can turn up a little dicey. Binding does not land, so they should be able to get out there quite easily and get that Dragon.
Yeah, LowLandions picking up the Dragon. Skullcrab being taken as a sort of consolation prize by Stinton. And slowly but surely, LowLandions are heading towards the point where they want to be at in this game.
Yep, we see the Titanic Hydra, Black Cleaver almost being finished up as well for Lenny, so he will have quite some split push power with a lot of tankiness, also a lot of extra damage because of the Hydra passive. The more health you get yourself, the more damage it will do as well. And Fiora gets really annoying if she has a lot of health. She has a lot of base damage because of the Vital procs, and then also she will scale her damage up with even more health from the Black Cleave, for example. And also a lot of shredding, of course, so it will be really hard to deal with her in the side lane. And even Poppy is going to have a harsh time since she is a level behind.
So
and also flashes down.
Oh, meanwhile in the top lane, Home Guard Fiora running in. Harry coming in a little bit early, but and might actually be enough to stop it. Sigma now joining the Free Tiger's Head in the middle of it. I'll knock up onto 2 by Alistar. Stinton in the middle. We will Failers in a lot of trouble though. In the middle of 3, nowhere to escape. Stunned for days. Stinton pick up that kill. So overall a 1-for-1. But the LowLandions did manage to take down the carry.
Yeah, overall worth for LowLandions. Of course, we have to see if they will be able to scavenge a turret.
Sigma might go for the dive here. Dive onto Photon. Can't quite get the knockup up. Sigma gets caught up in the cocoon. Lenny coming in as well. Laser not quite landing, but here comes the Chaos Storm ultimate picking up that kill. And that is another kill taken. And they might look to push forward, but Sigma and Lenny are so very low. They're pretty much forced to recall at this point. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Kitty has been pushing for as much as possible. Gets the attack speed buff from the True Shot Barrage. One more hit on the tower and will make it out and get out of jail free. If he goes back, Lenny actually trying to dodge with the charm. Expertly played by Photon, waiting for the riposte to expire after getting that kill.
And who would have thought that out of all the champions on the team of LowLandions, it would be Kitty going for the split push. The AD carry that's supposed to kite for the team when it comes to the 1-3-1 split push is actually the 1 split push.
He's like, guys, I just want to farm. Are you good, right? Okay.
Cool. It's cool. It's okay.
So, one thing you had mentioned before is Lenny like doing a lot more damage overall with the Titanic Hydra, but would it perhaps be a good decision to start out the Ravenous Hydra and then swap it out for the Titanic Hydra once you get like the Black Cleaver, so you can like because I do feel that Ravenous Hydra would do a little bit more damage until you get that extra health in the form of Black Cleaver.
Well, the way you would do it is you would go Titanic Hydra first, since you can swap it out for free. You can go Reference Hydra later, because the thing is, like, Titanic Hydra will give you overall more utility, especially if you're looking to fight more overall in the early stages. Fiora gets a lot more tanky, can get a lot of Vital procs down, since the majority of her damage early on will come from the Vital procs. So you just go for a little bit of tankiness. You also get the auto attack reset from Titanic Hydra, so there's additional damage there. And once you hit the Black Cleaver, you could already consider swapping it out for Hydra. Or for the Ravenous Hydra, but overall you would still keep the Titanic Hydra because of the boost from the HP from Black Cleaver.
Actually, I mean swapping it the other way around. So you start off with Ravenous Hydra while you have like no health, and then you switch to Titanic once you get the help from Black Cleaver. That's what I meant.
That's what I'm trying to explain. So how you would do it nowadays and why it is more beneficial to do it that way.
Okay.
Because Revenant's Hydra, because then I might as well go to that point now, because Revenant's Hydra overall has more value if you have lifesteal in the first place. If you have another lifesteal item on top of that, since the Revenant's Hydra also procs, the passive also procs on the effects like lifesteal, or at least lifesteal does benefit from it. Revenant's Hydra has this crazy synergy with lifesteal. So if as soon as you hit Bloodthirster, then you would switch out the Titanic Hydra for the Revenant's Hydra, because then your tankiness comes from your lifesteal and your damage output.
Okay.
And that's the way you would do it, and that's why Titanic Hydra is more often picked up first. Unless you're like winning lane really hard, you could go Revenant's Hydra and just go for the flat DPS if you don't need to be tanky. But if you're looking to fight and skirmish a lot, then Titanic Hydra will give you more utility overall, since, like I said, Fiora has a lot of damage output from her vitals early on, and that scales very well with flat AD. But first you want to be tanky enough in order to actually get the vital procs down, because you want to go in, but if there's so much CC and blow potential from the main meta champions like Ari, like Elise, it's really hard to survive with just Revenant's Hydra, since you're also squishy as Fiora.
So, while you were explaining all that, LowLandions have successfully poked down mCon eSports and to take down another tower. Pings are going on to Baron, but that was probably mCon pinging out the ward that was located there. As you can see, the pink over there as well. Lenny might be able to actually get it. Does manage to get it in the last couple of seconds of being alive. Yay, cheer for the ward. Yay. That was a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, so sometimes it still happens, but then it kind of died out.
Yeah. I'm kind of sad about it. I really liked it.
Means never bad to get like an additional 30 gold, just like that. Let's kind of scavenge that ward for myself. Nice, nice.
So, Dragon is not going to be up for a little while no, Dragon is actually up. So they might go for it right now, actually, as they're all like slowly moving towards bottom lane. Or they might rotate over towards top lane later on, because it's the only inner turret that's still standing.
Yeah, they might do, but first they do want that Dragon, because they can always play on the Dragons, because Dragons can always guarantee you that late game. If you get the 5 Dragon Slayer stack rate, gain the true damage rate, gain the additional stats like pushing, extra damage on minions or extra damage on turrets and inhibitors. But I was about to make a point. Where what was it? Oh yeah, the thing is, spectator mode actually has a bug now where it doesn't show the respawn times of Baron and Dragon. So that's why we don't really see any timers. So also we have to kind of keep track of when Dragon went down.
I was like, I'm missing something here.
Yeah.
I haven't seen something all weekend.
But now you know. It's the time is not being there. This patch, it still hasn't been fixed. There's also no hotfix for it, because
Riot doesn't care about spectator mode.
Nah, I didn't want to say
Riot
that.
doesn't care about replays.
Oh my god. We don't have replay systems, we don't have sandbox mode, we don't have this.
I would actually really enjoy sandbox mode.
It would be amazing to have. Would make coaching so much easier as well.
Yeah, but just theory crafting would be so much fun as well. And like,
yeah,
making like YouTube videos, like fun YouTube videos, would be so much better as well.
Yep. That's also a really good point. You can indeed get a lot better content production.
Stinton landing spoon onto Sigma, but Sigma, of course, being the tanky boy champion she is, doesn't really care too much about it though. Figur's pretty low though. Gets the slow from the Rylus Crystal Scepter, and Tiger's Head is like stating like, no, this is my playground. You're not getting anywhere past this. But in the meantime, in the bottom lane, Weepo and Lenny are kind of slowly duking it out, and seems like mCon are getting the better of this fight here. Charm down does land onto Sigma, dropping Sigma down to half. A lot of damage onto him, and no Fury to actually regen. True Shot Barrage coming across, not quite connecting onto anything though. Stinton just repelling away from it.
And that's the thing, like this is what mCon is looking for. They want to chain those single target CCs, since they are like about 2 seconds each. You've got the Cocoon that can go up to 2 seconds, you've got the Bind that goes up to 2 seconds, you've got the Charm that can go up to close to 2 seconds. I'm not sure if it actually does go to actual 2 seconds, but at least close to it. And then you can get a lot of DPS down, but it's so hard to single-handedly catch out LowLandions because they will be going for like the 1-3-1 split push. Or like, as we just saw, there's like a generic 1-4. I think that LowLandions can abuse the 1-3-1 a bit more, or like the 1-1-3, that would then be the case, where they have like 3 men in top lane, 1 in mid lane, and 1 in bot lane. It's not the perfect situation since in the turret is gone anyway, but once they breach onto the base, they can definitely go for these things, especially if Baron gets a threat. When they have enough items to get that, they are definitely on the goal to be able to get it. But now instead we actually see mCon starting to siege this mid-outer turret.
Yeah, it's just really hard to push in these towers if you're trying to split push, because Caitlyn is just really good at defending turrets just at her own. When she's at this level, gets like the additional Yordle snap traps. It's really hard to push in against the Caitlyn, because if she like places down towers, like if she places those traps just out of auto attack range, then like I think the tower like has slightly bigger range than 550. I kind of forgot what the tower range.
Slightly, I think slightly.
I kind of forgot what the tower range was. So if you're like skilled enough, you can like place those traps at a like 550 range away from the tower, and if someone steps in them, like they either get tower aggro or Caitlyn just shoots them down.
Yep. Because Caitlyn of course gets the additional range as well for the guaranteed headshot when someone steps on the trap. Same goes for the net, and this is why we've seen Caitlyn like a little bit more. She is really good for anti-siege. Like of course she was a good sieger herself because of the snap traps, because of the long range, but she's also actually pretty good in the anti-siege because of those traps, because of that zoning, and now she gets 5 traps in total if she maxes it out.
Oh, Baron is aggro though, but looks like Sigma just takes that as a chance to start it at this point, as Elise is nowhere around. Ace in the hole does come across, so that's going to be Kitty taking a lot of damage from the Baron. Bwipo actually cancels the teleport from Lemmy, so Lenny is not joining this fight at all, as they're facing off in the 1v1, forcing the flash out of Bwipo. So good Baron stop, and mCon is going to be rewarded with a tower.
Yeah, well coordinated by mCon, also recognizing that Lenny would go for the teleport in order to defend, and Bwipo, he indeed interrupted that teleport, which allowed them to stop the Baron, and now it is them taking that mid-outer turret, and finally they are starting to breach towards the enemy. Well, not entirely the enemy base, but at least some of those objectives. But now Lenny's going in.
Lenny going hard onto them, but doesn't really have his ultimate to follow up. So just going in for a little bit of poke damage, and no real engage is happening from these people. I feel like this is kind of like the new League of Legends, where the first 15 minutes there's like a bit of fighting, and then once you reach that 30 minutes, it's like the game suddenly turns really, really slow until that one team fight where it just explodes.
Yeah, and that's what we see mostly now that the respawn timers are a lot longer in the late game. They are quite short in the early game, so it's like not as punchable, but like the later the game goes, the longer the respawn timers are. So these late game fights, or late mid game, or actual late game fights, are going to count a lot more.
Baron attempt number 5 from LowLandions. Will they be able to actually get it? I feel like mCon is just biding their time. True Shot Barrage coming across the teleport from Bwipo to join the fight. We will Fados gets caught, but a nice 3-man pulverize onto him. He's trying to stop them. Bwipo in the middle of it all. He's probably going to be the first to fall. Knight goes unstoppable, and now can they chase? Lenny gets found. Can he get any further? Flash is being extended. They are chasing Kitty with the perpetual slow, but he gets charmed and gets destroyed. Has to arcade shift out. The binding landing onto him. Can they get it? The pool, not enough. Lenny picking up the kill, unfortunate. Chaos Storm shirting, but he will fall as well. Sigma with a knockup, gets 1. Can he get 2? Knight picks up another one. On the chase towards Stinton. Laser is churning, burning Stinton, so does get proc, but he can't follow up. Knight trying to get the speed boost off the Spiderling, but did force out the flash from Stinton, and overall it being a 4-4-2 in favor of LowLandions.
And near ace for LowLandions. They will definitely be able to reach this base. Finally, they get the inhibitor turret. Now they're going for the inhibitor. Don't think they will be able to get Baron. At least the thing that mCon got going for themselves is that they did stop that Baron, but will it be enough? They will get a lot of control, and this is where you can abuse the 1-3-1 split push even more, because one of the inhibitors is down. You can play on the open inhibitor, maybe even like draw someone in the mid lane, even though you wouldn't really do it, so you can just be sure, you can just play safe and go for the 4-1. But definitely the split push will be really strong as well, for Lenny having teleport up quite soon.
Dragon is going to be taken down by mCon though, so denying Dragon number 3 for LowLandions. And also they got a little bit of extra gold because of that top lane outer tower falling for blue side. So that's a little bit of extra cash in their pockets. But now, more than a 7k gold lead for LowLandions ICE, and they've been transitioning that well into their team fight, showing off that their team fight potential is a lot better. A lot of clutch plays though. Kitty almost dying, Sigma almost falling. Looks like this is going to be Baron attempt number 10 at this point. CV has been used to spot them out. I like to call it CV, but of course it is the blue trinket. Of course, Baron is fairly low, sitting at 3,000. Stint and force a repel, and who's gonna get it? Red team actually does steal it away. What is the fight gonna look like right now? They're trying to chase onto True Shot Barrage in the middle of it all. Poppy joins the fray, using the ultimate just to try and deter them from going on any further, but that is gonna be the Baron steal for mCon.
And mCon can definitely stall this out with that Baron buff. Of course, the inhibitor is down, but now they at least have stronger minions to somewhat retaliate these super minions coming into their base, but they still have to deal with the split push of landing teleport being up now. mCon does have the disadvantage when it comes to that teleport. Repo doesn't have it up, so a lot of roaming power will not be the case for Repo, where Lenny can just go into a side lane. Actually, would have expected like a ban of command from LowLandions as well to emphasize that split push, but it is still LowLandions having the control just because they are so far ahead in kills. They still have that 800 gold lead, not 800, 8,000 gold lead.
Yeah, that's kind of a lot more.
Yeah, it's a lot more. I forgot the 0 there. Got the 0.
So with that said, mid lane inhibitor is of course down, but they will have the Baron up minions to try and kind of counteract that. It's about equal in power, I would say, as long as there's a champion around to push it back. So I'm kind of wondering what LowLandions' game plan is going to be like. Are they going to go towards the top or bottom, or are they going to just wait the Baron out and then like retaliate, trying to get a team fight off?
Well, first they need to sweep a little bit, get a little bit of that vision control. Dragon should be spawning soon. We kind of have to guess when Dragon will be spawning because, again, the timers of the respawns, like Dragon and Baron, they are not there for now. The spectator bug, they are getting a lot of control in this bot side of the map, which they should do as well. They can still play on the 5 dragons if everything goes to waste, then they always have the dragon where they can play on.
Very true indeed, but of course it still takes 3 dragons, so that's still about 20 minutes before they can actually get 5 dragons. True Shot Barrage coming across, not doing a whole bunch of those Baron up minions. The laser being a little bit more effective. Looks like We Will Failers wants to get in on this fight. Did not have flash available, though otherwise he could have gotten a 5-man pulverize off, which would have absolutely been devastating. CV being used to spot out where everyone is. Looks like they are going to try and push down the mid lane at the very least. Top lane is not pushing in LowLandions' favor, so Sigma probably going to go and clear that one out a little bit to try to get the wave pushing in their favor a bit more, while the supers are heading towards the mid lane.
And what I would like to see from Sigma as well, that he would actually spend his turns a little bit more in the enemy jungle, both in the bot lane, in the bot side of the map and the top side of the map, so he can move around the map really quickly, because you want to play in those Rek'Sai ults where you can split push with the jungler.
Oh, We Will Failers might be caught out, forced to use the Unbreakable Will to mitigate some of the damage coming in. That's going to be the ultimate down for quite some time, and that might give mCon an angle to work with for the next minute or so.
It's a pretty big cooldown, especially if you want to try and siege where your main front line is in the Alistair. And if your main front line is not going to be tanky, then you are in kind of a trouble. But this also shows how good Kaden is in the anti-siege, just because of all those traps. You saw in the top lane, those 5 traps right in front of the turret. It's just so hard to break through.
Yeah. But speaking of tanks though, like Lenny is building pretty tank as well. Spirit Visage, Deadman's Plate, Black Cleaver, that gives him some health. Like he's pretty decked out in the defensive stat.
Yeah, that's also what you still can do on the Fury. You can also just go the tanky way of things, where you go to like this type of on-hit style way, go like Black Cleaver to tank Hydra and Deadman's Plate, so you can indeed get like initial burst, and then you DPS your target down slowly but surely with the vital procs, with the ultimate as well. and then see if you can kill targets that way, because this is definitely Lenny saying like, okay, I just want to be some type of front line for my team. And oh my god, look at those traps. It was actually quite hypnotizing, just like all the 5 traps just blocking blocking the staircase of the base. Inhibitor respawned as well, of course, so they definitely want to defend that, and those traps will
Yeah, the only problem with it though is like I think the traps have a fairly long cooldown on themselves, so Tiger's Head can't actually do that trick again if they actually do decide to go towards the bottom lane. Like he can maybe place a trap or two, but he can't be like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because he needs to like stack them back up again.
Yep, they are on the recharge timer. They don't have a flat cooldown, but just a recharge timer, since the traps have a charging system now instead, for those that didn't know yet. This is now exactly what LowLandions is doing. Like they saw that, okay, all the traps are in mid lane, then let's see if we can do anything in this bottom lane.
So Tiger's Head doing his best to clear out the way. Phantom Dancer being completed is probably going to go for Bloodthirster on his next item. AD carry's not really going for Last Whisper anymore, like really late in the game.
It kind of depends. If it's like a double or triple frontline, then you would go for Lord Dominic's Regard, since it gives like that extra damage for like max health damage on your opponent. But since the only frontline really is Alistair and Fiora, like I think it would be safe to indeed go for the Bloodthirster just to get like the extra shield, the lifesteal, and the flat damage output.
Well, Lord Dominic's Regards wouldn't even be that bad, because like you have Lenny who's sitting over 3,000 hit points, so Wheel Failure who's sitting over 3,000, and Sigma who's sitting like well over 3,000 hit points, like 4,000 hit points even.
Yeah, I actually overlooked the Rek'Sai here, because also Sterik's Gauge now, on top of the Deadman's Blade and the Spirit Fist, that's pretty big, and again Unbreakable Will being forced out of Wheel Failure. And if mCon can hold the base like this, they can literally turtle in their base, kind of play a PvE game, and see if they can make plays during the late game, because then later in the game, it's going to be about, okay, if we can catch you out, then we blow the target up, and then we make this into a 5v4 instantly, and then we can maybe even like push for turrets and see if you can scavenge some of those objectives that way.
Yeah, their dragon has been taken by LowLandions ICE, so Baron is going to be up in a little bit, as Rek'Sai is already crawling her way towards it, or like more so teleporting, but Fortunate might be catching someone out of position here. Did actually go for the Elixir of Iron, surprisingly, so extra health. I'm actually surprised to see the Elixir picked up over like a boot upgrade, like Captain's Boots.
I normally would indeed upgrade your boots first, but the Iron Elixir is definitely not bad. It gives you extra tankiness, gives you extra tenacity, also provides a little bit of movement speed for your allies. So it kind of gives you the Captain's Boots of itself, where you need to leave that trail behind you.
Yeah, but then again, like the boot enchantment is permanent though.
Yeah, that is very true. That is very true. But also, it doesn't give you extra health sets. So, and especially at these times of the games, it's going to matter a lot about who is going to win the fight, and then the elixirs can actually provide you quite some sets in order to help you win these fights. So I can understand the decision over the elixir over the boot enchantment, where the boot enchantment is kind of like a luxury in a way.
So Bloodthirster is completed for Tigers. And it's going to be Weepo going in, landing the knockup onto Kitty. Kitty pretty much being pushed out of the fight. Wheel Failures popping the ultimate. Lenny now going in. Knight goes godlike. That's going to be the 80 carry for mCon going down. Knockup does land onto Stinson, though the gravity well churning everyone in towards the middle. Weepo getting knocked up. He's going to go down. That's going to be a triple kill for Victor. And with only Photon and Enigma remaining, I think this might be a final push coming here from LowLandions, as they are still 5-man strong.
Incredibly impatient play from Weepo. This is not how you want to play the composition. Weepo is supposed to be there for the backline, actually cancelling out the dashes and the ways that the frontliners of LowLandions can get onto their backline.
Okay, they might actually go down and shut down onto him, so that's going to leave only 4 members of the lines up. 4 members still more than enough to take this down. Fortunate now being zoned with the grand challenge here, has to go back, and that's going to be the Nexus taking down LowLandions ICE, winning the first game in this best of 3.
Yes, it is going to be a best of 3, so it's not over. But Repo, I don't know how the communication went. If mCon thought they could go for an engage, but this is not how you want to play the composition this late in the game. You want to go for the picks. You are having the bindings, you are having the cocoons along range, you are having the charms. You want to play off of those picks and then have Poppy in the backline peel for your backliners, because you have something that can interrupt dashes, that CCs people that try to dash into your backline. You can hammer people away from your backline, and that is how you want to play it out this late. They did really well with the turtling, but that was a really impatient play from mCon.
Yeah, like Repo threw that game harder than Poppy froze her buckler.
I guess so. I guess so. You could say that.
So with that said, we're gonna take a small break. The casters are probably gonna get something to drink and set up game 2 for you as fast as possible. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with game 2 between LowLandions and mCon.